What's up? Hi everybody, welcome to this special live stream. I know I'm running the Monday live stream intro, but it's not. We're Tuesday, it's really late at night for versus the usual time of streaming. I hope you guys gonna like this one. I should start by saying hi to everybody. Tobias, hi. Chris, hi. Real Art Studio. Sorry, had a brain freeze trying to read that. Dallas Phil, what's up from Dallas? What's up from Montreal? Sound of Friends, Yummy update. Oh yes, a lot of stuff happening. Charlie, what's up? Chris White, what's up? Hi everybody. Michael, what's up? It's Showtime. Actually, it's the name of this firmware. It's basically called Showtime. Because it has a lot to do with show control. I don't know where to start with this. You guys, we'll go along on this one. This time, before anybody complain, I've downloaded the firmware, I've looked at the stuff, and basically I've talked about it a little bit. This firmware is not 13.9 point something. They revert that to 2.0 because it finally has all the feature of the show control section. It's there. It's finally happening since today. Also, speaking of today, somebody asked me, Rob, actually, what's up, Rob? I know it's too late for you in Europe, but a lot of people ask me why it's so late today, because I had to work. I had some meeting and appointment with clients, and I needed to get that happening before doing the live show. Because as much as I would like to be a full-time YouTuber, and for some reason I believe it could happen in the long future, because I'm gonna pat myself on the back and say, well, first, thanks to you guys, but through this perseverance, I'm finally reaching 5,000 subscribers, and it's all because of you guys. If not, I'm just a guy in his basement doing nothing in front of a camera that no one watch, but you guys are there, you guys are watching. I see that you guys are watching my stuff, and you guys are subscribing to this channel. It's totally crazy for me to believe that 5,000 people click that subscribe button, and some of them ring the bell, even if not everybody rang the bell. The reason why you want to ring the bell is when I go live like this, or when I do random live stream from time to time. So if you want to get notification when I go live, when I release a video, or any other notification from my channel, because I believe it will give you all the community stuff, the picture and everything, ring the bell. It will help me a lot. Yeah, nearly 5K. I'm like 5 people away, right? If you guys have a friend, or if you have a second account, it is now time to help me reach 5K. And I'm trying to load that stuff. Hold on. When I checked later today, I was 4 people away. Oh, it says 96 here. I got 96. But anyway, I mean, it doesn't matter. It's just a number. I mean, it's not like anything's gonna change. It's not a number that change a lot of things on YouTube. There are numbers that change a lot for content creator on YouTube. The first one is 1,000 subscriber. After that, it's 25,000, which allow you to basically have online stores, stuff linked to your channel. For now, that doesn't do anything for me. The only thing that do something for me, and if you want to help, no, I don't want to say become a member of the channel, though Chris, remember under 100, right? In January of 2021, when I scrapped my old channel accidentally. But seriously, if you guys are here and you want to support me in what I do, please take a look at the Amazon affiliate link down below. You can just click on there. Don't buy the item that is there, but if you need to buy something off of Amazon, it will make a huge difference. I believe that the Amazon commission was not that big, but apparently I was a little wrong. Somebody ordered like for $100 something of... Oh, thank you very much, man. Thank you very much for the sticker, super chat. I don't know what it is, but thank you very much for that 20 bucks. I really appreciate it. I don't do this for the money. Well, actually, I want you to get something out of your money. So if you need to buy something off of Amazon, if you want to buy something, just click on the link below and go buy your thing. But as soon as you click or you go through Amazon, through one of my link, it's gonna give me a commission. And on something like 150 bucks of USB cable, I got like 10 bucks. So it's a big commission. And it doesn't cost you any more penny. It just takes money out of Jeff Bezos' pockets. But Nick, or you can do like Nick. Just do like Nick and send me 20 bucks all over the place. I'll take them for sure. I mean, yeah, but I would prefer if you get something out of your money. So if you need to buy something, just go through my affiliate link. I would really appreciate that. If you want to buy a wing, I would definitely appreciate that. I'm probably gonna have the new stuff coming eventually. Link down on my profile, because I believe we're soon gonna see some stuff moving around the wing rack that was leaked a couple weeks ago, and eventually a wing compact, or I don't know if that's the real name for this one. I know the wing rack for sure, because a viewer of the channel told me that if you zoom really close on a picture, you see the sticker on the side of the rack and it says wing rack. So it's gonna happen, wing rack. There's a picture of something that looks like a wing compact, and I heard of something else that I cannot talk about. But I heard that expect the wing family to grow bigger in the near future. I don't know when. I have absolutely no idea when, but it could happen in the future soon, that the wing family will expand to the rack first, probably, then after that closer to maybe something like an M32. I really like the M32R. It's my favorite footprint of them all. I wish the wing could have something like that. I would as soon as the wing R or the compact or the like a 19-inch version of the Surface that could fit in a road case will be announced, this one will be for sale, because my back is a little bit hurt from my car accident that I have back in March, and it's a pain for me to carry that around a flight upstairs to go out with that on the show. Actually, tomorrow I have a show where I was supposed to take my console, and I asked the equipment provider to just give me an M32R, and I'm gonna do just fine. But yeah, it's got to be a 19-inch footprint. I don't care how thick it is. If it can fit on a 19 inches footprint, 19 inches road case, where you can just like, drop it in one of those, what do you call them, console mixer, that will be awesome. I would buy it right now, and I will sell this one to maybe one of you lucky guys. But seriously, if I ever sell it, I'm gonna try to ship it internationally, but it could be difficult. So if you're in Canada looking for a wing in the near future, I honestly don't know when it's gonna happen, but I know at some point it will. It's just the logic thing that would happen next. So as soon as that is officially released, I'm gonna move on and grab a smaller wing, just because as much as I love this one, carrying it around is a pain for me. I love the UI, I love the interface, other than the routing. We're gonna get there eventually. But yeah, all that to say that really like my stuff. Okay, are you guys ready to move on? to firmware 2.0. Okay, number one, monitor mixing panning. What could they make it so when you are set on fader, the pan knob control panning for whatever you have selected? Congrats, now some real content. Okay, so you're tired of that vinyl challenge, right? Okay, I'm gonna move on. Well, actually, we can answer the question here from Nick. Nick. Why can't that happen? And I think it's to avoid user error. I think it's preferably a good idea to have something. I'm gonna go in a console view here. When you are on a channel, I think it's a better idea to go here and select the pan for everybody, because I don't think pan will move a lot for monitor mixes, for in-ear mixes, or in-ear stuff. I think the way I usually approach in-ear mixing is I pan stuff like where I want them to be, and I just adjust volume, and I rarely pan them back. So agreed, but I think it's to avoid user error of somebody being in like this view and selecting a channel and wanted to pan it for the left and right. Because usually this is where I would play around with the pan a little bit. You know, where I have two guitar. If I have the time, I will select the channel, pan it, center, and after that bring it back to the left or to the right. 180-degree pan for ears? I would prefer 360. Eventually, if we have the technology to have a 360 pan on the X32, would be awesome. I don't know how that can be done, but I know a lot of consoles now offer that feature, so maybe not at this price point. But if, I don't know how you can do this, but if it's doable on the wing, I'm gonna request that for sure. Maybe 360, we can have a different here icon and go like around everywhere. I don't know what's gonna happen with that, but I'm definitely gonna ask for a 360 pan. Complaint number 2 from Mr. Nick. Channel delay and output delay. Why can only metrics be delayed? I can answer that one quickly. It's because of the processing. I think the amount of insert point total on the console, or I know it's a physical limitation that you cannot have more delay on buses, but you can get it on channel, and I've shown before how you can like figure out a workaround without using any plugin. You can use a channel, an unused channel, to do that. So and the DP48 interface control for a wing, I don't know. I think the DP48, and I didn't play with them a lot, I think the DP48 is its own thing, and I don't think you should have to interface with them other than just in your routing section. Let's say that you connect your output into group C for your DP48. You just select what you want to have there, and I got the routing right this time. I figured it out. I got the routing right. I did not exchange them like it's on every other console, and I'm gonna keep complaining about that. So don't worry, guys. What is the recommended SD card class to record 32 tracks? Really good question. I don't know it from the top of my head, but I believe if you got something like a V30 card, I believe some of the smallest one are good to go with this, but I would need to read the spec for sure. I don't know for sure, and the specs are probably in the on the Behringer website or in the so thin manual of the console, because those are spec and those are cannot be really changed because they are hardware limited, the amount of minimum speed that you need to record 32 track. But the answer is there somewhere. I just don't know where it is, and I don't know it from the top of my head. So instead of saying anything stupid, I would say, I know you don't need something that crazy, but go check Google that. I'm sorry, Google that. Okay. Let's see what's going on other than that. Do user patch signal label issue comment. We have 2 user patch set stereo. You can't label them separately. Okay. Ground one was a circle and pan for add invert for in here. Okay, that could, yeah, sure. That makes sense, Phil. Okay, so an example of the new patch system. Well, we're gonna take a look at that. We should dive into this thing before we lose any time, any precious time of everybody who's joining here today. Let's start by going to this page here. This is the release note that were sent out with the patch, not the firmware, not the patch. It's not a patch, it's a firmware update. But this is what you can find in the zip file that you're gonna download from the Behringer website when you are downloading the firmware. Inside this zip file, you're gonna file three file. You have the PDF, you have the patch, and you have the changelog. Changelog is a short down version, and this is more like a bigger, like more in detail version. I'm gonna try to read that. It's really far away from from me, and I'm probably getting old. But the first thing that I want you to look at is how to do the firmware update. Firmware update can be done with a USB stick, and I'm gonna try these arrow here. Sorry for that. I know there's a way to do this. Okay. USB stick or directly from a PC. You guys know. I'm not gonna cover all that, but basically you download the firmware, you put it on a USB stick, and you come here, set up, firmware update, and you're gonna end up with a firmware 2.0 naming here. This is the official release version. You got my wing serial number, whatever. That was going to leak at some point anyway. So if I ever sell it to you when something smaller is getting released, you're gonna know it's actually this one, not something else. Let's go back to the firmware release. Can we go here? Okay, bug fixes. Do we really care about that? Yes, we do, but we're gonna find that later. Let's go with the new feature. Let's go with what they have to say on the overview. After active community testing, and I've tested that firmware myself, I must admit this time, of the firmware 13.9 FF, we are now confidently releasing the Wing 2.0 firmware. So it's basically a rebranded version of 13.9. So we're still in the same range, and I've leaked before 13.9. So you guys know we're roughly at the same place that we were before, but they added some stuff. It provides exceptionally powerful tool for integrating Wing into musical theater application. So this one is really focusing on the show control stuff, and I'm going to show you guys that it's really awesome. It's meant for a complex live production, so if you have scene recall, cues that you want to do, you can now do this on the Wing, and it has the option to go as deep, if not deeper, than the X32 was going or is still going. Kudos to Thomas, who was carefully listened to the early tester feedback. Thank you very much, Thomas. Seriously, I'm gonna turn the camera back on. Thank you very much Thomas. There is no bug, I believe, in 2.0. Thank you very much, Thomas, if you're watching this video. Really appreciate all the time that you take to answer everybody's comment, every development comment. I read them from time to time, and you are always spot on, man. Double thumbs up. You deserve it. Let's go back to this. Feedback and making the operation fluid and flexible at the same time. There is some learning curve inherent to the complexity of the matter. However, the documentation will ultimately flow into the QSG2. I don't know what that is. I don't know what QSG mean. Details are listed in the following page. Hey, Thomas. Okay, moving on to the next page. What we got? New library feature. We're gonna read that page and we will take a look at the library. Is there 1 or 2 page for library? There's probably more than one. Okay, we got a thing. When I start with the first one, I know a lot of people were asking for this, but we got snip or snippets. It's now available for you in the wing. Any specific parameter change can easily be recorded into a snippet. There are no limitation of what parameter values can be recorded into a snippet for later recall. But the rec focus allow to define what's changed, should be included, and should be ignored. Snippets do not contain any other value than the one that were recorded. Enhanced loading a snippet will keep the entire mix state intact except for the specially recorded values and settings. So let's digest that for a second. When you recall a snap or snippet, not a snap, sorry, a snippet or a snip file, it's only gonna affect what you have recorded there. So I think the use case for this is when you have a effects unit, or more on that, because you guys see what's coming up on the other side of that page. It's like for recalling an EQ on a channel, even if you can fully recall a channel. Or it's like to recall a effect on a channel, even if you can recall a special effect. But on a snap, what you could do is recall an effect and a amount of effect send in a different EQ for something. So if you want to have a more global than just a effects change or a channel change, snippet will partially recall a part of the console to your like or to what you previously saved that before. So if you have something that is called guitar solo that add reverb, delay, and change the EQ for a guitar, let's say that you're doing it this way, it will be a lot of trouble. Or let's say that you're doing a musical and you want something to change, you want a microphone to be open, you want the effects send to be sent. This is probably where you want to go and apply or record that change and recall that when needed. Where did I find the PowerPoint file? It's in the release of the firmware. When you download the firmware from the website, you have 3 files. You have the firmware 2.0, you have the PDF file, PowerPoint file, call it however you want, and you have also the channel log. This is all in the file that is publicly available right now. Okay, well, I got 3 files, so I don't know if something happened that shouldn't, or when I click it, somebody replaced the file with a bigger one, and I don't know. I'm not a webmaster. I'll leave that part to the webmaster. All I'm gonna say is I downloaded this from the Behringer website, and this is what I got. Moving on. Now we have the channel preset. Wasn't there the first download? Now it is. Okay, good. So everybody can have access to it right now. It's great. Because I really love those firmware release note. It was needed. Thank you very much. You guys listen. I really like when stuff like that describe what's happening is included in the firmware release, because previously just the channel log note basically were a little bit confused because you're out of context when you say you read stuff like added this there, or not even there, just added this. What are we talking about here? So this is clear, this is easy to read, this is easy to understand, and kudos to the person that made them. They look beautiful, they look really good. It's a really well placed, really well structured, and texts are not too long, pages are flipping really well. Thank you to the Behringer team, Music Tribe team. Thank you. So, channel preset or channel recall, because you want to use them for channel recall, those will be like previous to 1.13. So what we used to have pretty much where it's a full channel recall. You take a channel, the whole channel strip can be recalled. You can have them saved somewhere. Let's say for your singer, you're going to use the same microphone for the same guy every time, but you want to use that channel for somebody else. And let's say that you have a substitute for a gig. You completely destroy your bass channel, let's say, and after that your regular guy is coming back and he doesn't play like a full-on active bass that has a lot of low end. Let's say that you go from a passive 4-string bass player to a full-on active 5-string guy. You gotta change some stuff on compression, on EQ, on monitor send for everybody else in the band. So you save, before you do anything, you save your channel of your regular player, put that aside, put that in the bank, do your gig, recall the channel, because all you really had to change was the channel for your front of house mix. Inner monitor is a different thing, but let's talk about that in the future. But channel preset is now available, or finally re-available, should I say, because it was before. And with the new system, they redesigned that, and now everybody can have it. Before we move any further, maybe I can show it to you in the library. This is now the library page. If you skip a firmware or two, it was not looking like this at all. We have a couple page. We have actually the list here. We have a couple of menu here. So you have your show. Your show file is just basically a container for a snap file, for a snippet. Clips are audio playback file that you can do. So if you want to line up audio and cue them, you can add them to a list of cue in the show control section. You have the effects recall and you have the channel recall. So right now I'm on channel 40. This is my talkback mic. I could save that somewhere. Actually, I'm gonna do it. Talkback mic live, and I'm gonna save that. There you go. I can click another channel. Can I go here? How do I load them? Did I forget to do something? Maybe. But it doesn't matter. You guys get the idea. You just take a channel, you save it, overwrite, so it's saved somewhere. Doesn't matter for now. Let's move on. We're going to come back to this later. We have the same thing for the effects preset. A specific effect plugin can be recalled. I'm paraphrasing here. all the current parameter will be stored, and it will basically recall the preset. Nothing fancy here, nothing new, because this was all available before. So we all know that. Now the interesting thing that was not there before, and we can now start to learn some stuff. And I'm gonna learn pretty much at the same time as you, because I've looked at the show file stuff, but I didn't look into it that deep. But we're gonna have all the answer to our information in the text that I think we're gonna read here. So a show or a event list, and I think we should focus on the word event list here. EI, a section of load play action that you can, oh sorry, it's really far away, I'm having a hard time reading this. Load play action that you want to recall in a specific sequence. So basically, if you're doing like a musical, you can do a load a snap, sending a reverb somewhere, having a song starting with just a press of a button. So a specific sequence during the performance, the event list in that show can be of all the library items. So a snap, recalling complete mix, recalling a snippet, so it will recall just a partial list that was recorded in there. A clip, so a 2-channel audio clip that can be played back from a USB or internal data. Hold on here. Internal data, meaning we all know that there's a hard drive in there. If you can have access to it through a computer over USB, you can store stuff in the console on the hard from the wing. And meaning inside the console, not on a USB stick. If it's too big, you probably want to have it on a USB stick, but you can probably do that from the internal of the console. This is great. This is a game changer because you don't need anything. You just have your stuff inside the console. Let's say that you're doing a production where you're gonna run many times a show. That's gonna be big. That's gonna be really big. Moving on. Effects parameter in the effects, one effects slot 1 through 16, and channel processing. So basically on a show file is still a container for all that stuff, and you're gonna have a queue list. Call it a queue. But I really want to try the internal stuff seriously. If that's gonna be cool. So basically, a show file will allow you to have your whole show into one file. I'm gonna try to read the chat really quickly here because you guys talking a lot and I paying attention to the PDF. The wing is insane. Yes, it is. Anyone disagrees, sat down with me for one. What are we talking about, man? I don't know. Don't you miss the 96K? Not at all. It doesn't change anything in my workflow, and nobody in the crowd will ever come to me and say that my reverb are not 96K. If somebody does come to me, and without knowing that the console is not running, it's at 46K, or do not have the option, if anybody complaining that the reverb sounding too dull, or if anybody complaining that the console does not sound good because it's a 96, it's not a 96K unit, please have a beer on me and go away. Nobody in the crowd will ever care about that stuff. Okay, I have a quick question about internal effect 1. Can you assign a Dante? I believe that you can. I believe that you can. It's an in and out, so let's do that quickly just for fun. Let's go into the effect rack. I'm gonna do a external effect here. It doesn't want because it's probably not assigned anywhere, so I'm gonna assign it here. And can you do the Dante? Yes, you can. So you could, I see where you're going with this. You could probably insert you can probably insert something like Live Professor over Dante. It's gonna work, same as it will probably work with the USB. So can you assign more than one external effect? Well, actually you have 16, but there's another way easier than using the external effect, the external insert. What you can do is just take a channel or a preamp, and I'm going to show you how to do this quickly. From the routing menu, you can just take a source. Basically, you build a source from this menu. So you apply phantom power, you apply gain, you can even name it. And once you name that, you're going to go into output. You're going to select your Dante here, and from anywhere you can take basically, I know I'm looking for the input. It's backward. I hate it. So you want to go here in Dante, and you want to select here, and you want to take a channel that you have. Like, let's say that I'm going to use my talkback preamp. You're going to take that talkback preamp. You're going to send it into the Dante. And once you send that out into the Dante, you can grab it into something like Live Professor and then sending back that channel from the Dante, not the preamp itself. You want to grab the Dante back, and you're going to have basically all the input, all the 64 available input on one Dante card, or the 112 with the USB and Dante, or 2 Dante, 2 times 64 is 128. You can have 128 insert if you're doing it this way, not as insert, but more as a just simple signal flow. You're building your gain and phase in the source menu of the console. Take that out, patch that out to Dante here, and from there you just grab it back on a channel. Let's say I'm gonna go on channel 39 here, and your source, you basically want your source to be Dante return from your Live Professor 8 as an example. It's just a simple patch workaround to do all the in and all the out if you really want to this way. And you can grab anything, could be any source, could be USB that you send out to another computer. Is that the option are, I don't want to say limitless, but the option are everything that you got here. Sorry, I don't want to do this. I want to go here. Basically, all the option that you have here versus all the option that you have here that you can play around with and act however the way you want. And you can program all your preamp, and you can manipulate all your preamp coming from AS50 lines or your local input with this menu right there in the source menu. If I show it to you, it will be better. You have all the stuff that is in the source menu, all these input that you can give trim. Let's say if you have this, you cannot do trim from the source menu. I thought you could, but apparently you don't. But anyway, all you really want to do is play around with your preamp, set your preamp to good level, send that out to computer, bring it back into USB Dante, drop it in here, drop it on your channel, and you got insert point from your computer between your stage box, your computer, and your wing. It's just where it's placed in the signal flow that will change. Good news for the effects preset recall could be the Autotune, yeah, but it's not, the Autotune doesn't work this way. I have a video covering the Autotune. It's working the other way around that a regular Autotune does, in the sense of when you have Autotune, you don't set the keys for the note to go with. You tell the unit to ignore some notes. It's basically a chromatic Autotune that you just say bypass this one, bypass this one, bypass this one. Where a real Autotune works the other way around. You give it a key and it will not allow you to go in between two notes. Where this one will, and if you disable that, if you basically tell the software to ignore that one, it will not try to tune it in between. It's probably better and quicker for live use, so I think it's good. And so far I had mixed result doing Autotune live, but it's, if you want to go full on hip hop, yes it does. If you want to tune really bad singer, yeah, not really perfect for that for that use case, but it's working. Let's switch back to this. Not sure. Thomas says, not sure about the internal data, might be an error. Internal storage might be too small. Maybe, but I heard of some people saying that they had a really big data drive on their wing. I will need to check that information, but I'm really interested to know if it's possible to do it. It would be awesome. That and the future option to maybe have MP3s, different kind of file that the console could read. Because if you could have like an old 4 gigabyte file like I have right now, a 4 gigabyte key, thumb drive, USB, whatever, call it however you want. If you could have an old one, you can just like leave in there, or having like a small SD card that you could leave in there in an adapter, and having like repurposing a whole 16 gigabyte card for that use with a bunch of MP3, or just having playlists for playback in between, you know, set change. It would be awesome to have that. Just have, you know, I'm doing that with some band. I have a playlist where I just like press play, and it's pre-mixed. I've pre-mixed it myself at home, and I have like a 2-hour playlist of rock, 2-hour playlist of lounge, 2-hour playlist of blues, and you just like having them like on. You need to have basically them with you all the time. So we'll see. Just a request. It will be fun to, if we have control over, if we can have stuff from the internal drive to save on some space, it will make a lot of sense to have a smaller file size, like MP3, 128 megabytes per second, like smaller file. It would be awesome to have that codecs, or I don't know if I'm using the right word here, but that format being able to be read by the console. Maybe it cannot, I don't know, I'm not a programmer. Moving on. Show event tag. Did we talk about that? No, we didn't. Show event tag. Any item that is listed in a show sequence can be given a tag. For example, referencing specific appearance in a theater production. Okay. Show event hashtag tag. Any item that are listed in a show sequence will be giving a tag starting with a dash or a hashtag for referencing the specific items in the custom control section. Just allow jumping for a specific scene or playlist or playback a specific audio track upon a press of a custom control button. These event item can also be triggered from internal MIDI device program change. So, okay, good to know. Show event send MIDI. So if you want to control some light stuff and have some show, basically your snap file, your show file, or your snippet trigger something, show event can now send MIDI. Any item that are listed in a show sequence can be associated with a free text MIDI message. automatically sending that message to external MIDI equipment when that item is recalled. So a lot of information there. Tags make sense. Having MIDI makes a lot of sense when you run backtrack. So basically, the console is turning more and more into something that is really designed for production, or if you are a rock band running a lot of backtrack and you have your lights, you can, at the press of a button or at the recall of a show event, I'm gonna try to use the right terminology here, at a recall of a show event, you can send basically a MIDI note that will start a laptop doing something for lights, backing track, or you can do backing track from the console and have a light console reacting the other side. Let's say that you are in a theater stuff, you can basically program everything from MIDI, do it from your console, and every MIDI action will be called a different scene. On a computer, when the songs start, you know, in between acts, you just go like press intermission music, it will dim the lights. It will dim the lights on stage, bring the house lights back a little bit, start the music to play, and you won't have to do anything. We'll mute your console also at the same time. So if you really want to take time and design some cues with your wing, now it's better than ever. It's great. Sorry, you guys are going too fast in the chat. I don't have time to read that. I will probably go back. But from Nick here, would you love to see ability to have bus processing order change, like on the channel? Ooh, I don't know if that's possible. Alex, when you load or play new snapshot, can they fade or just a hard snap to the new snapshot? That's a really interesting question. We're gonna put that on the list to check out later. Maybe there is a fade time, maybe there's no fade time. Let's take a look quickly. I don't know about this one. I don't see anything here that has to do with fade time. So it's probably a hard go. For now, there is space on these menus, so maybe we can have a fade time of like a 5 seconds or 1 second. Could be predetermined value or over like 1 second or 2 seconds. So maybe, but for now, I don't think it's available. Or maybe in the show, do we have anything that looks like a fade time? No, maybe not for now. Maybe for a future update we can request to have fade time. Looking for a word. It's been a long day. We've been going at this for almost an hour already, so we're gonna try to move on, but I'm sure that we're hitting the core of what's new in this update, so that's why I don't mind spending a little bit of time on it. So, okay, next page of that PDF. New preference. Are we done with the show control stuff? Yes, we're done. Okay. New preference on setup audio screen, global input main alternative override switch. Okay, so on input channel, on meaning that the input channel source main and alt switch can always toggle the source even when the channel input is switched to global. Is set, select switch is set to global. Okay. Off, meaning that the input channel source main or alternative can toggle the source only when the input selected switch is set to individual. Okay, let's take a look quickly at what's going on there. No, that one, that camera. And this used to be here, right? So, okay, so main input, select override on or off. So this is a new thing that they added. Basically, when you select it on, it will overwrite everything. When it's off, it will be input selected, but the channel will have the final word on what's happening with that. That's cool. If you want to say like, okay, now for now I want to switch to a virtual sound check, just let me grab whatever I want, it's gonna do it. That's really nice. Let's go to the continuation of what's happening here. New preference on the SD recorder screen. Automatically switch from of main out, source, and channel depending on the SD recorder state. So now you can separately define for stop and play record states. Okay, hold on. You can now separately define for stop, play, and record the states to either keep the current source, always switch to the main source, or always switch to the alternate source. Audio input select determine which SD card one will be used for the section should follow. Okay, so basically what that means is this is an awesome feature for everybody that's doing virtual sound check. From now on, with that feature, you gonna press play on your virtual sound check and it will switch automatically if you want all the input of the console to be the one from the SD card player, so the W Live card. And once you press stop, let's say that you're ready to go, your band is on stage, you press stop, it automatically change everything. So go to the SD card recorder and open up settings. So SD card recorder, this is where I am right now. I'm gonna open up settings. So, all right, this is where you have the option to choose what do you want to do here. Great, this is awesome. So, auto input select, that was there before. Stop input, keep, play input, you have to keep main or alt, and record to keep main or halt. So, this is amazing. And you have the option still to format your SD card. I don't want to forget and format this one. I have some really cool show on it. I want to use it for virtual soundcheck in the future, but I will definitely have my play to be alternate my input, and my alternate input will allow me to just have, as soon as I press play, not record, play, it will switch my console to be full in alternate mode and having my virtual band playing. Awesome feature. Thank you very much. Now, channel utility allow copying channel parameter to individual target with automatic increase of source assignment when more than one target is selected. Note the send detail of a copying on a channel send setting to other channel, the scope will be automatically changed to send only. Okay. Basically, let me show you guys, because I took a look at this before and I really like what I saw here. Let's go on a home menu. If you press the utility, you have this new menu popping up. It's a full-on recall scope from what I understand. I didn't have time to play with it, but you can take a channel, like I'm gonna have my channel right now, and go everything here. I'm gonna go copy channel, at least setting one target. I'm gonna have my 3 channel next to it, next to my channel 40, to apply the same setting, and I'm gonna go copy. And I'm gonna bring them down because I don't want you guys to be blown away by the sound of my voice being too loud. But basically you don't have to copy paste one by one channel. You can go like, I want this to be copied. And right now the way I have it configured, it also copied the input setting. So yeah, basically. Really cool feature, really cool new menu. I really like this thing. You can do the same thing for aux, bus, matrixes. This is amazing. And you have the thing that you used to see here, as always, you know, the connection, the config, the custom tag. So if you want the channel to reflect the name of the source or the name of the channel, tags, the input filter, anything that you guys know before, it's already there. They just added to this stuff. They did not retract anything, but they added a really cool new menu. Double thumbs up. Utility button toolbox, did we read that? No. It is worth noting that it allows selecting the scope feeds, especially for copying all input channel, send to the bus. Send to bus and multiple targets bus. This is a very convenient way of copying monitor mixes from one to another bus. Okay, hold on. Let me read that again. This is worth noting that it allows the scope feeds, especially for copying all channel inputs send to this bus, to multiple targets bus. This is a very convenient way of copying monitor mixes from one to another bus. That was requested so hard. I cannot believe that they didn't do that before. A lot of people request that big time. Guys, it's here. 2.1 or 2.0, not 2.1. 2.0. Another thumbs up again. Great. Thank you for doing so. Moving on. No, we went this way. Oh yeah, we need to talk about this. New user signal routing. It's not really user signal the way that you think it is. Those additional user patch, because they're not really user signal, they're more user patch, that allow arbitrary combination of source with their individual head amp gain, mute, and polarity to new stereo user signal. Example, as channel input, as stereo channel input, but hold on. First, let me tell you guys what I've learned doing these things. We're gonna go we're gonna go take a look at it first. User signal. You have your 24 user signal, the one that you used to see, and after that you have user patch. Those will be awesome. Sorry, doing this. Those will be awesome to create stereo track with stuff that you didn't want to have stereo at first. Real life example. You have a guitar player on a show. He's going to show up with an amp. You're going to put SM57 in front of his amp. Gig goes on. It's your regular player, no problem. You get a substitute for a day. Somebody else is coming into the band. Oh, this guy show up with a stereo helix or aux box or anything, but you want a stereo signal for that guitar. Now, for this show, you can now use the user patch, take the line that was there before, grab another line anywhere in the patch. So let's say your input 48 of your DL251, and you can make that one next to another by having a user patch and create a stereo input for that band. And all you had to do is to software wise, create a pre-patch, and you created a stereo source out of two input that are not even odd. You create channel basically from anywhere. It could be 2, it could be 1 and 11, it could be 12 and 48, it could be 13, and it could be 14 and 13, or 14 and 15 if you really want to. This is unlocking not only the non-consecutive patch, but to have any input as a stereo source. Let's say that you change your mind after the fact, or you have a stereo bass that you want to now have a DI and a bass, and you want to have them as a stereo source because I don't know, for some reason, I've done that before, where I had a bass in the middle and having a stereo source made out of a DI and a mic on a cab. I've done that before. So, awesome. I don't think you need user patch for non-consecutive patching. I believe so. Could be wrong. Hold on. But oh no, I'm gonna user signal. Not actually. When I say non-consecutive patching, I mean one next to the other to do stereo source. But okay. Sorry, I tried to read what you guys are saying because you're saying a lot of cool information. Also, you have independent gain and polarity on switch. Yes, the actual from the source menu, you have all the stuff that you usually need on from the source menu. Salut Alex. Check the labeling. Hold on. Yeah, I know. There's a people complaining about that. Hold on. The labeling doesn't follow, right? For the stereo linking, I don't think you need to use user patching. The update log, they are separate. Hold on. I want to make sure to understand what you're saying, because usually before you had to, let's go here, let's go on my overhead. You needed to have 2 stereo input, but you cannot. How would you do a stereo source? And I'm curious now. Could you do a stereo source with 2 different? No, you cannot. You need to have. There you go. When I say stereo source, you need to have your input next to one another. But if you're using the user signal, you can go 25, go stereo source, and that could be whatever you want. So if I go in the routing menu, here on my channel 39 I have this, and if I go here I can add a local input. So my source are for this user stereo source, I have 33 from AS50A, which is not plugging right now, in my local one. Yeah, you have to make it stereo in the user. Okay, this is what I thought. Source for stereo or MS user no longer linked. Please send the book manually. Yeah, you have to make it stereo in the user. Okay, labeling. Let's go to labeling. Are we talking about labeling here? Go to the user patch, this is where I am, and then make a stereo. Then select one of them, hit rename, hit next one, rename, and they can't be named separately. I don't think this was available in the user signal before, because I believe here this is called overhead with a space, and if I go here overhead, and if I remove that and just call it over, go close, they all follow. I don't know how easy it is for you guys to read, but it will follow. It will be the same name. The stereo source is named the same thing, because I understand why you want to have, let's say, kick in and out from a single user source and have that named to a different thing, but it's a stereo source. Once you, yeah, that's a normal behavior. It's only one channel. It's only one stereo source, and that stereo source is made out of either 2 consecutive input, even odd, or from a user signal that you decide, or user patch. I should use the right terminology here, to user patch. And yeah, you basically have to make it kicks with an S and snare with an S, and do the what I call the width trick when you have a stereo source, like I have right now, a stereo source. If you change the width to 0 and you use the is it the pan, or am I doing something wrong here? No, here with the pan, with a width of 0, you can blend between your snare top and snare bottom as an example, and you can play around with the phase reverse into the source menu. Can you do that? Can you do a... Yes, you can. In the source menu, you can have 48 power, 48 volt or not, or polarity reverse on one of them and not them all. So you could do a snare. Let's say that you want to add a snare bottom. You just go from your input 2 here. Your source would be 2 snare, and here you want to have your local 1 because you don't usually run a snare bottom, but that guy today I really want to have a snare bottom. What you can do is not destroy your whole setting, add a snare bottom, set your gain, set the width to 0, create a stereo source, and you can basically get away with 1 channel, 2 mics, snare top, snare bottom. I would not recommend you to do this, but if you are fully loaded on channel and somebody want to have something stereo at the end of the day, it could be a way to go. Show how you would patch 2 kick mics. Yeah, collapse them to center. Yeah, this is how I would do it. Actually, if I were to do that, I would probably not put them 100% center, just to give like stereo. And I will probably blend the 2. I would make the 2 mics sound really good, and just having them not slightly center. I like to do some weirdo stuff like Dave Rat, because Dave Rat is I don't want to say my idol, but he opened up my mind a lot when I started listening at video and stuff. And he was doing this on the Red Hot Chili Pepper, where he had 1 mix on the left, 1 mix on the right, to create that to see somehow stereo effect, or not the same thing left and right in his PA. And it stuck with me. It stuck with me to have not everything center all the time. This is why I'm doing on guitar 57 421 or 57 M160. I like to do that. I want to try that on snare eventually. I need to have time at some point and put like 2 mics, 2 like 604, and EQ them slightly differently and have your snare, you know, stereo, but it will work. Take the channel now as a group EQ. Yeah, kinda. Yeah, because you'll be stuck with the same EQ. I would want independent EQ control of dual kick or snare mic. Yes, definitely. You could get away if you have, let's say, 2 bass drum. You could get away with 1 EQ for 2 bass drum, because they are basically the same. Let's say using the same mic on kick that are tuned really close one to another. The gating will be weird, but if you really have to. But let's say not really on bass drum, but more on snare top, snare bottom, I can get away with the same EQ on that, but probably more on like stereo guitar, or having 2 different microphone on 2 speaker, on 1 speaker, or 2 different speaker of a guitar cab. That could really work, because usually on guitar I just place the mic where I want them to be, where they give me good sound, and I just low cut them. And usually I don't EQ my electric guitar that much, so that could be a workaround. But it's more a workaround than a feature. Let's put it out this way. What do you think about the multi-copy? I love it. I just spent a couple minutes explaining it. I love it. Between the tilt, gain, and EQ, you can tweak it damn nice. No, for sure, I could get away with it, but getting away with it is not getting away with it is not always what I want. I would prefer to use 2-channel, to be honest. Tony said, this is certainly another pro feature. Yes, this is a feature that is amazing at this price point. You guys don't get it. How the Wing, or how much the Wing is giving to you with the price that you pay for it. It cannot be beat. And everybody keeps saying, oh, it's a Behringer, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's not. Like, everybody is, like, jumping on Alan right now. And trust me, feature-wise, sonic-wise, the Wing eat those console alive. Nothing is even close. For the price point, of course, if you go, like, where I saw a comment before talking about the Rivage and other console from Yamaha or Digico, or probably the higher Alan stuff has some really cool feature too. We never had a chance to try them, but for the price of a Wing, the amount of stuff that you get plug-in wise, because those plugins, hold on, all those plugins are free. You don't have to pay for them. The speaker manager is something that you get for free. You don't have to spend money. You don't have to buy plugin that you cannot take back out. And honestly, price wise, price to performance, feature to performance, price to feature, nothing comes close to the Wing. You don't like it? Fine. I don't like every single console ever made. Like, especially, I have to work a lot with a TF1 right now, and as it does what it's advertising, but nothing more. Nothing more. It works. It passes sound. It has a Dante card, and that's it. I'm not sold on them. The HD96 needs to take some feature from the Wing because the HD96 sound insane. Of course, it's a Pro Midas, but the Wing has some stuff that doesn't. But the Wing has some stuff that it doesn't even do. Yeah, I know. It's not perfect. Nothing is perfect, but they're gonna get there. I'm sure the Wing, the HD will get there. Let's go back to this PDF. Did I miss anything? The data partition now also feature a startup folder where startup startup or snap or files can be placed for automatic load after the console started up. So okay, cool. Hold library button during startup to temporarily skip the automatic loading. So okay, if you got a bug, you can just hold the library button, and that will do it. Wet dry control in the custom section. Hold on, you're going too fast right now. So glad that they fixed the SD card link issue with now being perpetual. Okay, gotta take a look at that. Has no time aligned bus, I guess. No, the Wing doesn't have any time aligned bus. Is the HD96 time align? Is it time aligned or not? I don't know. Seriously, I don't know if it's what's the deal? This question is for Tom, but what's the deal with time align bus and or channel? It's everything. Time aligning in the world of audio is everything. The Pro Series do have time-aligned channel. I don't know if Boss for sure, but I know the main out is time-aligned, meaning that when you apply a plugin or you apply an EQ or compression on a channel, or you add insert point, you're gonna create latency of a couple sample. So I know some effect in the wing have 32 sample latency, and when you have time-aligned channel to the main out, basically the console is calculating what is the channel that has the most latency in your setup. So let's say that you have a lead vocal where you apply a lot of stuff, and that total amount will be 64 sample. I'm just gonna give it a number like that. If you only have one channel with processing on it and everything else is just like gain, raise the fader, gain, raise the fader, the console will delay by 64 sample every other channel. So when they arrive at the main out, they are time aligned to go out. It also helped to reduce problems that were more common with the old M7CL, where at some point when you keep adding stuff that have slightly off delay, you end up with just a bunch of mush at the main out. So time aligning, this is basically time aligning. The console will calculate, let's say a channel has 32 sample, the console will only add 30. The bigger one has 64 and you have another one with less. The console will compensate to have everything in time with the amount of delay of that channel and having everything in time to the main out. This is what create the might sound good by itself, but this is why when you have a bunch of stuff together, it still sounds good. That was the problem with the M7CL back then, because you were creating different time and phasing, and we have, especially on the live stage, a microphone that is phasing with another one because you have processing on one and none on the other. It just came out as like mush, and also it was not aligning the bits at the main out. So when you end up with two, when you look at a wave, a recorded wave, it's all squares, even if it looks smooth when you go from out, but if you zoom in really close, you're gonna have square. And back in the day, the M7CL was basically leaving everything that was square, fitting one to another, but if a bit was going in between, it would just drop it. It would drop all the less significant bit every time that it reached the main out. So this is why it sounded like a bad MP3s, because it was creating empty space, rejecting sound, so everything at the main out could have been clocked together back to whatever mush that you had left with all those information in the signal, those less important information in the signal being kicked out. So yeah, no, we want time align everything on everything. We want time alignment on everything if possible. It's not doing it on bus, but it's doing it for the main out, and it only matters when you have the same source at different bus and use different plugs. I'm sorry, I want to make sure that I understand that statement really well. It only matters when you have the same source at different bus and use different plugins. Yeah. Okay, it makes sense. But latency could be an issue with a lot of stuff. And not everybody perceives latency the same way. Some people are really picky about it. Some people just don't care about it. I'm the kind of guy that really care about latency. If anything is more than 5 milliseconds off total round trip, I cannot play an instrument. It's just like I need to have my phase shift incoming is a different thing. Yeah, like yeah, like you have, okay, parallel compression. This is why you have the wet dry on the wing, so it doesn't create that phasing, because it's time aligning that for sure. Or does it? I believe it does. Anyhow, we're not gonna open up the debate about time alignment or not. But basically, I was going to say anything that has more than 5 milliseconds is a problem. So time alignment can be a problem if use wet dry. Okay, good. That's what I thought. Time alignment. Get your coffee. No coffee for me. I need to go. Actually, I need to close that up because I need to go to bed and I need to wrap all that stuff. Because tomorrow morning, I wake up at 6. It's currently 9:21. I wake up at 6 and I have an event starting up where I live stream the whole thing for the client. So, what is the actual input to output aux latency? I believe it's less than 4 milliseconds on the wing. From the top of my head, I don't know for sure, but I have 4.3 total in my head. It could be wrong, but I believe it's something closer to 4.3. Anything more than that, and I cannot play an instrument personally. So if I have, and I had that before, somebody was giving me digital in-ear from a brand that I will not name. It's 1 millisecond. Okay. But I had digital in-ear that were adding a little latency, plus the console was adding a little latency, and I was totally off. I was talking into my talkback mic with a pack on, and it felt like phasing to me. Only in my ears. But that will be a throw-off for me. Okay. Seriously, I need to wrap that up because I need to wrap all my video gear and put that in the car for tomorrow. And I have a really long day tomorrow. 1 millisecond is okay. 4 is way too much. Okay. Moving on. I need to finish that list. So okay, we got that. Custom control for effects mix added to the end of the plugin parameters list. We're gonna take a quick look at that. It's probably in the effects parameters. Okay, I know it's there. And trust me, I know it's there. You guys don't need to see it. It's there. The effects control is there. Let's grab this. Is it there? Outputs. Well, okay. You get it. You can now have the wet dry control on the effects parameter. Custom control. A lot of people wanted to have that. It's there. Just know it's there. What did I destroy? Oh, I just destroyed my program change. Damn it. It was a MIDI note push. It was 7. And I'm gonna try to do this on channel 1. Okay, there we go. We're back. I should not change my custom control while I'm doing a live stream. Function to clear fader layer. Okay, that's really cool. So this is probably in the option for the faders. It's probably somewhere around here. Is it in the config? Clear. I believe this is. I'm gonna try with 12, 1 to 12, and go clear. Clear fader layer, confirm. I just lost all my fader. Layer 1 through 12 is just gone. There's nothing there. And if you look at my console, you cannot see it, but it's just gone. It's just gone. And if you look at this, you see the bottom rows are populating. I'm gonna clear that. And now 1 through 12 it's not populated. Not populated. And oh, this is the one that I'm using, and it's populated again. Good. So basically 1 through all the knobs on the left are just named for different layer, because the wing is fully customable. You can do whatever bank of fader that you want, not a problem. Moving back to the PDF, option to auto adjust, compensate the send level when changing the receiving bus mode globally, making the contribution. Hold on. I'm gonna go back to the parameters list. Is that like gain compensation, but for in-ear monitor? That will be amazing. Hold on. Where option to auto adjust, compensate the send level when changing the receiving bus mode globally. Okay, I'm not sure I understand this fully, but let me go here. Is that where it is? Is it in the tool section? No, that's just for copy paste. Is it in the channel? Can you enable something that I didn't see? Let me bump that up just a little bit for you guys. I believe it will sound better because I'm further away from the mic today. Main out. This subgroup. Nope. If anybody got a cue for me, I would appreciate it. I know, Mr. Vinyl, for a fact that a 31 band EQ will have 32 millisample of latency. So let's say that you have a 31 band EQ or a dynamic EQ on the aux. Will it still be 1 millisecond out? No, it's not. It will be the 1 millisecond plus the latency of the plugin that you're adding. So if you're having an effect block, I believe most of the effect block are 32 sample of delay, which is not a lot, but I believe it's there. So just be careful with that. Graphic EQ fader response should have fast option, like on 31 band speed. The taper is very gradual. Also find this in. Okay. I would need to get back on that busting. I do not want to spend half an hour looking for it, but if it does what it does, this is amazing. Moving on to another subject. Auto change. Oh, I've read about this one. The dynamic EQ, significant improvement. So they basically redesign the dynamic EQ. So please, if you're using dynamic EQ a lot, make sure to look at that. Don't want to go too deep into those because not everybody's using dynamic EQ all the time. Just make sure to read the note because there was a big change around the dynamic EQ. Maybe I can do a video about it. New preference, select, double click off, jump to number 1 table, home, or jump to bus, insert effects page. Okay, really interesting. When you double click your select button on a bus or a channel, it was gonna bring you to the home or the effects page. New dead time for improve fader auto select, reducing channel switching while moving more than one fader. Okay, those are just like small improvements. Source for stereo mono user signal are no longer source for stereo or mono MS user signal are no longer linked. So okay, you need to set them both manually. So this is what we covered. User signal customization no longer takes from source. Okay, user signal light now indicate that the signal is assigned to a user source rather than showing up source. Okay, so when you have a user source, it will display that. That's good. is that it? Did we reach the last page? We can go really quickly through the bug fix. Utility button backlight in operation when the toolbox is an option. Both are present. So yeah, I needed a few seconds to realize myself that when you are basically your utility button will go on or off depending on where you are on the console. If you go to the Home section like I am right now, my button is on because I have the utility on. But if I go in the bus section or anywhere where it's not, or did I have something else selected? Anyway, when it's available, when you have option available, it will select that for you, basically. On the insert, you have a utility. Yes, you can do this. Here you can do this. So basically, it's gonna light up when it's available. If you selected something that is like not, do not have any utility option, it will just go black. I don't remember where, but I use I just see it black. No, this one has it, this one has it. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. As long as it's lighting up, it's there. If it doesn't light up, it's not, basically. I'm gonna try to read the chat as much as possible. Hold view button is the send option at the top. New, hold on. The send option here, when you go on each layer and you select the view on top, the send here, no, this is not new. You select the bus that you have and you turn it on, and you basically, oh, this is because it's a bus, it's not a, it's a group, sorry, on bus 1 on my console, it's not a send. But yeah, here, this goes into my delay, and you have the option to do this. This is a really cool feature that will allow you to have, I don't know, a more touch interface, or if you are using a rack that has a big screen, you can do a lot of things from this menu. This screen was added, I believe 1 or 2 firmware ago, but it will allow you, if you have a touch environment where you have maybe a bigger screen to go along with your console, or if you're running something like a wing rack, you can select a channel and you don't have to go all the way. Oh, actually, let me show you. The utility button is off because I'm somewhere where I don't have any option for utility. But if I go click on my channel 40 and I go out of this menu or go back to home, it lit up. So there you go. You have it for the utility button change. Bug fix. Bug fix are not interesting, right? Okay, well, let me take a quick look at the PDF with you again. Is there anything? No, we reached the end. We just back to where we were before. Those are basically the new feature of the Wing 2.0. It's way more focused on the show control stuff and the amount of flexibility that you have in the library than anything else. But they fixed some stuff here and there. They added some feature here and there. It's not as 2.0 as the X32 update 2.0, but it doesn't matter. It's just a number. It doesn't, who cares? It's just to mark a statement in time. 2.0, new thing, new library, a lot of stuff in the library. I need to investigate a little more about some of the stuff under the hood, like the busting. I need to be back on that, and I need to check out for the internal storage to hold WAV file for playback. It will be really awesome if you can do this. I'm gonna read the chat a little bit, guys, and I'm gonna go. I give you maximum 10 minutes, and I have to go to bed, otherwise I will regret it tomorrow. And no amount of coffee will allow me to go over that. Now all we need is a wing rack or I mean R, or a smaller version of the wing. Totally agreed with you, Chris, on that. Thank you very much. Graphic EQ is so 80s. Damn right. I don't work with graphic EQs, seriously, because they never have the frequency that I want to work. Since I'm working on a wing, I never touch it anymore. Yeah, same thing for me too. Well, actually, I used to have one in a rack and got rid of that a couple of years ago when I got my wing, pretty much, because who needs a graphic EQ? Seriously. Doing monitor with graphic EQ. Oh, we need to talk, man. We need to talk. I'm using only parametric when I'm doing monitors, and not even on my, especially not on main, because the kind of phasing that is created by 31 band graphic EQ, when you want to do some major change to a sound system or a monitor, let's say for real, let's go here, graphic EQ. Let's say that my PA is way too bright, and I know roughly the crossover point is around 2.5K. If I take the high frequency, oh, now it's a full on parametric, I'm gonna put that to shelving. If I want to drop a horn in a monitor that is a passive or active monitor that you do not have access to the amplifier, doing something like this will just shut everything down at the same level, and it will not create a bunch of phasing like if you were to drop all the frequencies around, I don't know, anything over 2K. When you have a specific feedback on a monitor, with a parametric EQ on a Q of 10, you can focus more on the frequency that is feeding back and more on the harmonics over it than just go like 440, and actually the frequency that you want to turn down is 430, but you don't have that option on the graphic EQ, so you end up doing 2-notch with 2 fader, and you create a hole in the phase. You create it has worked for years. But my favorite tool to use on monitor back in the day was the Midas 5 parametric EQ, the DN360, I believe. It was a 5 or 10, 5 stereo or 10 mono, full parametric EQ, and I had amazing result for that on monitor and main. And especially on main, you don't want to, actually on main, you would try to EQ as less as possible. Well, you tweak the PA to be the way it is, but with the kind of PA that we have right now and the place that I'm working with, actually tomorrow is going to provide me with the new QSC stuff, which is apparently amazing. Cannot wait to try that. I just have a small corporate event tomorrow. I'm going to have 2 speakers in my room, 2 small speaker, and they are deafening loud. And apparently they sound amazing. So I'm going to try that tomorrow. The new line array system. Of course, if we're talking about okay, Phil, you got one there. Podium or feedback machine, aka lavalier. I call them feedback machine. Maybe there you want to notch some stuff, but honestly, if you, let's say that you dedicated a full 6 parametric EQ to a lav mic, because on the wing you have a low cut and you can have full 6 parametric. Honestly, you're not going to go any way further in there. If you have more than 6 feedback on a lav mic and it's worn correctly, meaning that you know, you have those corporate guys with their shirts on and they have the color of the shirt going over the mic, or ring the room out of a podium, maybe. But honestly, if you do more than 6 cut, you're not gonna go way further than that. If you EQ the room first on the main out, And after that, on that channel, on that input, because I always try, my mentality is always try to have the PA as flat as possible. And after that, on the channel strip, you correct the channel strip. So let's say that you EQ'd your room, big room, cut around 400 or 500, ringing, whatever. You EQ your room sounds good. After that, you have 6 full parametrics for a podium mic, lav mic. If you cannot get away with 6 full parametric, if you cut 6 feedback with those really sharp, narrow EQ, man, you're not gonna get, you're gonna get more out of a 31 band, I believe. You're gonna create some phasing issue, but it's not gonna sound good, and you're not gonna get more volume out of that thing. Anyway, I believe. Your call, guys. I'm new in the business. It's only been 20 years since I've started. What do you guys have to say? What do you guys have to say? PEQ are very good for 7 point. I just had the situation where I was happy to have 31-bit beside for quick access and close to a feedback situation. Omni Live Mic. Oh man. When will people understand that Omni Live Mic are not made for live use? They are really good for TV stuff. They are really good for video stuff. But for live, that's a no-go. Honestly, I almost 100% of the time refuse to use them when with corporate clients. I'm working a lot right now, or I've been working a lot recently in the last year in a room that is really big. I'm having 85-foot ceiling. Convert that into meter if it's more your thing. Okay, well, it's going to be nighttime for me too, so before I derail into any other story, as much as I like to spend time with you guys and derail on story, I have to go to bed. I have to get my stuff ready. Thomas, thank you for being here. Really appreciate that you stay up until almost 4 o'clock in the morning. Really appreciate that. Everybody else in the chat, thank you very much for tuning in. I really appreciate that you guys stick around to do those kind of live stream where we can talk about stuff, when we can, you know, have a good time, interact with one another. It's always fun to see you all. OD, thank you very much for being here. All my channel members, thank you so much for showing up. I think I should do live stream at night or at 8 o'clock more from time to time. I will see what's happening with that, but I'm gonna try to do more windows of time so you guys can have a chance to jump in, because most of the time in North America on the Monday you guys are working, and I see a lot of cool new faces, some old fart like Nick, and other new people that I really appreciate having around. Guys, thank you very much for showing up to this live stream. Go download the Wing 2.0 firmware if you haven't. It's been tested for a while. I'm pretty sure it's safe for you. It will not crash. It's been tested a lot. On that note, thank you very much for being here with me. I want you to stay safe. Please take care of yourself. Go rest. Have a night of sleep. And I'll see you guys next time. It should work this time. That button should work this time. See ya.